FMPR did an amazing solidarity work partnering schools. So if any one of you want to get in this, you contact Gia. Gia, raise your hand. Gia has been partnering schools from Puerto Rico all over with schools in New York, and children of Puerto Rico have been receiving any type of material that the government has denied them of receiving for their school year. And it's not just about charities, solidarity. They are writing to each other, they're connecting each other, they are telling children in the U.S. what our children are going through, and we are building relationships. And as they are in solidarity with us, we are in solidarity with them. So Gia has been doing amazing work. So if any of you want to partner our schools and become sister schools, Gia is the person for you to talk to. These are some of the best images, so you can see, you can continue, yeah. So you can see them all, and then this is some of the work of the Brigade of the South. So we can go to where we are right now. This is a school that lost the roof that we put after, with all the help that we received. There's there's a teacher's union on top of the roof, and at the end you see how the roof was built. It was completely gone, so the teachers have taken it into their own hands to do what the government is supposed to do. So we're very proud of our union and our members. We received a lot of messages of solidarity from Portland, from Nashville Teachers Association, from the British Columbia Teachers Federation in Canada, who has been with us, and so many more. But now let's get back to where we are right now. Even though the hurricane hit us, and solidarity was a reality that led us through beautiful moments, we are facing the biggest attack on the public sectors in our country. And immediately after the hurricane, you see Betsy, DeVos, Secretary of Education of the U.S., next to our Secretary of Education, saying that this hurricane gave them the opportunity of a lifetime to make the reform that they were not able to do before, and they were trying to convert Puerto Rico into the New Orleans of the decade, as they said, literally. So even though people were tired, people had no electricity and had a lot of necessities, they decided during the hurricane to shut down 200 schools during the hurricane, immediately after it happened, because they wanted to cut the budget of the Department of Education. The way to do it was not cutting from the huge salaries and the contracts of the friends of the friends. It has to be shutting down the schools and firing teachers. So being that people were very vulnerable, they decided that was the moment to do it. They did not expect the response they received from our communities, and even though the people of Puerto Rico were facing such a hard time, communities, as you see in the pictures, organized, and there were multiple protests in front of the schools every day, requesting the government to reopen their schools. So a lot of communities that were decided to shut down by the government and our secretary gained the power to unite with the teachers, parents, students, and they fought back, and they won. So UNICANR was not able to shut down our schools after the hurricane. Then, since she was not able to shut down the schools and do her plan, she decided to not reopen them, saying that FEMA didn't inspect the schools, even though the schools were ready for a long time, thanks to the teachers. So the way that she worked was, well, I'm not going to close it because you're going to be resisting. I'm going to not open the school in a long time, saying that FEMA has not been there. That way, parents take their children out of school and enter them in other schools, and that way the school empties itself, and we have no schools. So the Teachers Federation did a civil disobedience activity to pressure the government and ask them to start reopening the schools. 800 schools were still shut after more than 2 months. So we asked the government to open it. We went there to talk to her. She didn't want to attend us, so we did a civil disobedience activity that ended in the arrest of 21 teachers. That's myself, that's Edwin was there, the vice president of the FMPR, and 21 other teachers for the crime of asking the government to open the schools for the children of Puerto Rico. So that backfired on the government, because people were very angry. How can you be arresting the teachers of Puerto Rico for fighting for what's right? For asking the government to comply with the Constitution and provide the education our children deserve. People that have been so hurt, children that have so much need, that need to go to their social workers in the school and talk about what's happening in their homes, about the needs that they have. So we did what we had to do, and we were incarcerated like 11 hours after with no charges. They couldn't do anything against us. And immediately after we were released, we talked to the Association of Social Workers, Committee of Parents of Special Education. We joined together and we sued the government because of their lack of response of not reopening the schools just a week after. And after we took them to court, a week after the hearing was set, 300 schools were still shut, and in the hearing, just 35 schools were closed by that time. So the protest of the community, the civil disobedience, plus the court case, forced the government to reopen the schools and say to the judge, hey, we reopened the schools, only 35 because they were really in bad shape and they're open now. But all the schools that they wanted to shut down, they were not able to do so, so we were very active after the hurricane. So capitalism never stops, right? So they tried for 25 years in our country to privatize us, our schools. In '93, we had a one-day strike when they tried for the first time to implement a charter school voucher system. 2008, the Puerto Rican teachers don't have the right to strike either. So in 2008, they wanted to privatize our schools as well and hand them over to universities and private entities. And the Teachers Federation was the exclusive representative of the teachers, of 45,000 teachers in Puerto Rico. And we went to an assembly with all of our members, more than 8,000 members, and we voted. Are we going to defend our schools, or are we going to collect the union dues? What's more important? Teachers, students, rights on education, or collecting money. So we decided to go on strike unanimously. We were certified after it, but we never lost our dignity, and we got a stipulation signed by the government stating in 2008, after 10 days of striking, that no schools will be privatized, no charter schools will be implemented, and a 14% pay increase, which was the last one, was gained through the strike of Puerto Rican teachers. Last government tried to privatize the schools as well with a bill which was 1456, and the unity between unions and teacher alliances that we made with an organization called Federación, we did a lot of work together and we stopped the bill from happening. So it's been 25 years that they've been after our schools, and now is the first time that they approve it. What have we been doing to prevent it? You had something before, right? Okay, so disaster capitalism, they're taking advantage of the hurricane to privatize everything. So they announced in January that they were going to close down 300 schools, fire 7,000 teachers. They were going to privatize through charters, and they're going to implement vouchers all at the same time now, knowing that our country is going through what it's going through. So we have been organizing the communities since that announcement. People have been protesting in front of the schools. We were talking to the parents on the streets. We are giving talks to schools. Prior to March, we gave over 100 talks to teachers in different schools because nothing. You can use your Facebook, you can use your text, you can use your WhatsApp, whatever you use, but nothing will replace the direct contact that you have with the people. So you have to go to the people and listen to the people and make a plan together. And that's what the Teachers Federation has been doing. Life for Years here has been doing that with us as well. We are a teacher alliance working in defense of public education in our country. So it's a non-stop work, as you can see the images. And then, if the government does not give us justice, they are going to have no peace. And last March 19th, the Teachers United set up a strike, a one-day strike, where 16,000 teachers were absent from school, where 92% of the students were not in the classrooms because the parents were with us through the streets of San Juan protesting the government against all this destruction against public education. So we are teachers marching through San Juan all in one voice. No, the next one, that one is. So, yeah. Bueno. So then you got a brief video image of what happened the 19th of March in our country. Yeah, you can. So teachers prepare for a one-day strike to send a message to the government that we are going to do whatever we have to do, as we have done in the past, to prevail and to defend public education. It's not just about our rights, it's about our children's necessities. It's about having an accessible education for all, equal education for all, and we are not going to allow the government to deprive our children. So our next steps, and I'm going to conclude because he has the last words, our next steps here are taking a General Assembly next week, so we will go back home and we have renewed a lot of energies from all of you amazing people that have inspired us this weekend. And the Teachers Alliance are going to a General Assembly and we're going to pass a motion to go on strike the time that we have to go on strike till the government denies or goes back, reverts the decision to shut down the schools. Till they revoke the decision to implement charter schools. We have no charter schools in Puerto Rico. We are not going to allow that to happen in our country. No baptist schools. So we're in it here, in the fight, the biggest fight of our lives. School closures, privatization, voucher, and giving money to private entities so the people of Puerto Rico could take their children out of public schools to fund private colegios, private schools. So it's crazy. What we're living in our country is the biggest attack ever in the past 20 years. But, you know, Martin Luther King said once that you can never be silent about the things that matter, you know. And we are not going to be silent about the things that matter. We are not going to be silent when they want to deny our children the right to an education, our youth to the right of an education, our retirees to go to die because their pensions are going to be cut while we didn't create this debt. We're not going to pay it. We are not going to pay the debt with this sacrifice. The ones that created the debt, they are the ones that should pay it, not the people of Puerto Rico, not the children of Puerto Rico. So we are going to fight back. And any solidarity is welcome. You can send messages to the governor of Puerto Rico, to our secretary, you can tweet our secretary. We're going to have a strike fund because we're in it for the time that we need to. The government has made a decision to stab us, to destroy us, and we are not going to have it. So next 15th of April, we're going to tell the government what we are going to do from the streets of our country. So thank you.